The big UFC Fight Night on ESPN Saturday, April 27th at the BB&T Center in Sunrise. I got to ask you this, though, because this is always interesting to me. I follow the WWE, the wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to refer to. So Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Bobby Lashley, Jack Swagger, Sonya Deville, CM Punk, and even back in the day, Dan the Beast Severn and Ken Shamrock. What are your thoughts of pro wrestling and MMA fighters crossing over to one another?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It's funny. It seems that a lot of the WWE wrestlers are big fans of the UFC, and a lot of the UFC fighters are big fans of the WWE. It's a really funny crossover, but they've also been very successful. Brock Lesnar came here and was super successful, and Ronda has gone over there and become super successful, so it's all good.
And Dana, is there any update on Brock returning to UFC?
Soon, I hope.
And also, I'll just throw one more question about Brock on there. What does having Brock on a UFC card mean to UFC?
No, it's big. I mean, Brock Lesnar's a huge star. Whether he's here or he's in the WWE, he's a big star. So, yeah, it's a big deal for us.
Did you get to attend or see WrestleMania on Sunday?
I did not. I did not get to see it, but I heard it was great.
It's amazing because it's so just amazing that you had for the first time at a WrestleMania women main eventing that showcase. And Ronda Rousey is a big reason why this happened. And Ronda Rousey obviously has done a lot for women, empowering them in all facets. As you know, obviously with UFC as well. And now she's doing that in WWE. Just what do you think about Ronda and her ability to do these things?
I told Triple H and Stephanie McMahon that when you work with Ronda, you're going to love her. She's incredible. She'll do anything that you need her to do, and she'll be the greatest athlete you've ever worked with. And I was right, and I'm sure they both feel that way. After headlining WrestleMania with her. And Ronda is one of those people that when she sets her mind to do something, she can literally do anything. She's incredible, and I love her, man. She's the best.
Could you ever see a Colby Covington or Conor McGregor in a WWE ring?
I don't know. I think anything's possible. Anything's possible. It's not just being able to talk, but you actually have to be able to wrestle. And Ronda is actually a really good wrestler. But she's been a wrestling geek her whole life. She's like totally into wrestling and a total geek about it. So, it's a passion of hers and something she's always wanted to do. I don't know if that's the case for Conor or Colby.
Yeah, that is interesting because, right, she has been a lifelong fan, Roddy Piper. But the one thing I think that is really surprising to outsiders like me is how quickly she has adapted to the in-ring skill, to being able to do that. And she must work like a beast.
Yeah, she's a workaholic, man. When she sets her mind and focuses on something, she wants to become the best. And she's incredible. I literally, we could stay on the phone for an hour, and I could just fire off incredible things about Ronda Rousey. She's the best I've ever worked with.
Well, I won't keep you on the line for an hour, I promise. Just a couple more questions, Dana. The WrestleMania model, and then we'll end it with UFC, obviously, but I want to ask you this. The WrestleMania model, that has just become such a huge... It's a week-long event, not only just the WrestleMania show. Do you ever look at something like that and say, can we do something, or are we doing something like that? Is UFC doing something like that already, where you're just making it a week-long event, a fan fest, everything, just throwing charity events, all these things at one area at one time for that many days? Or is it a different type of genre and fan?
No, we have International Fight Week that's coming this summer again. It's every summer, the first week of July, where everything in Vegas is UFC, from concerts to pool parties and autograph signings and fan festivals and Hall of Fame and all that stuff. We do that on International Fight Week.
How did that idea come about, Dana?
I don't know. A few years ago, Lorenzo and I wanted to do a martial arts expo, where it was just everything martial arts. It started out with, there was jiu-jitsu tournaments and point karate stuff, and all these different types of things, and it eventually evolved into International Fight Week.
Now, Dana, you have a boxing background. Am I correct in that?
Right.
Did you ever get into the boxing game as a promoter or behind the scenes, or ever have any interest in that aspect?
I did just about everything that you could do in the sport except judge, and I never promoted a fight. I actually never promoted or judged, but everything else from ref to box to trainer to cut man I did all that stuff.
What do you like about boxing, and what do you like, obviously, about mixed martial arts?
I love boxing. If it wasn't for boxing, I wouldn't be here today. It's what got me here, and I'll always love the sport of boxing. But obviously, mixed martial arts is where I ended up, focusing, my time, life, and career.
UFC Fight Night on ESPN on Saturday, April 27th from the BB&T Center in Sunrise near Fort Lauderdale. Dana White, anything you would like to add to end this interview?
No, I'm excited to be back in Florida. Every time we do a card down there, I have a blast, and I get to do 2 fights this time. Looking for a fight, and then our fight on Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the card, and I'm excited to see Greg Hardy fight again.
That's interesting you brought up Greg Hardy, because he's an American top team guy. He's been training hard. Former NFL guy, super size. What have you seen about him? What do you like about him?
Yeah, obviously he's a massive heavyweight. He's an incredible athlete, and he hits hard. And pretty much everybody he's fought, except for this last one, he got disqualified. He puts you out. If he hits you, he hurts you, and if he hurts you, he ends up finishing you. So I'm looking forward to seeing him fight again. And the guy he's fighting is a tough guy, 9-2. This is a real fight. It's not like he's coming in and just running over bums. Like how in boxing they'll build guys up. We don't do that here. From the minute you walk in the door, you fight the best guys available. I mean, if you look at Hardy's record right now, right? I mean, this guy is a guy we're grooming to be a star. He's 3-1. And he fought a real guy in his last fight, and in this fight he's fighting a real tough guy who's 9-2. So he's fighting a guy with 11 fights.
And Dan, is that done? It's interesting you mentioned that. Is that done so you're preparing the fighter better in a sense? I'm not a fighter. I don't know. So in a sense that, hey, you're not giving them tomato cans and then all of a sudden a big fight. You're actually giving them big fights and then all of a sudden a bigger fight. Is that sort of the mindset behind it?
Yeah, it's not what we do here. Everybody wants to get to the UFC, but be careful what you wish for. Because when you get here, you're fighting nothing but the best in the world. And when you actually make it into the top 5 or become a world champion, you are absolutely positively the best in the world.
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to end it with this. Got a chance to talk to Greg, and he was actually a teammate of Michael Orr, who was in that movie. They made the movie The Blind Side. He was actually a teammate in high school and in college with Michael. I thought that was an interesting story. Greg lived that story, too, with him, and then they made that movie Sandra Bullock starred in, Academy Award nominated, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a real cool backstory with Greg as well. But anyway, Dana, thank you so much for the time. We look forward to seeing you in South Florida and hopefully have other events coming here as well.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.